What's up, you guys? So Porsha Williams is opening up about her early exit from the Traitors, and she's calling out Candiace and Ron for how it went down. If you watch the show, you know that comedian Ron became fixated on Porsha from episode 1. And he was the one that wanted to put a coffin in her grave, literally. But Porsha's also calling out Candiace, saying she expected solidarity considering that her and Candiace are both housewives.
So I felt at the round table, as soon as I walked into the kitchen to confront Candiace with Michael to find out if he said, hunt down the housewives at the gravesite. When she lied, I knew she was a traitor.
So we're going to get into the Traitors drama in this video. But first, if you're watching and you like Traitors tea, make sure you subscribe and click the thumbs up button. So season 4 of Traitors started on Thursday with 3 episodes full of weak alliances, paranoia, and a few power moves by Candiace. And right out the gate, Porsha became the very first person banished after her own gameplay raised eyebrows in the castle. Porsha was not a traitor. Those honors went to housewives Candiace Dillard-Bassett and Lisa Rinna, along with Rob R. from Love Island. But Porsha had a few moments in episode 2 that set off alarms among other contestants, specifically comedian Ron, because they sounded to him like a traitor talking about the night's murder. So the first time Porsha slipped up was while discussing Ian Terry's murder. She said something that came out like, "I killed him." And other players focused on her wording of that statement because on the show, only a traitor could say that they killed someone.
So the part of my sentence you didn't hear, I started it out by saying, okay, guys, we need to figure this out. Let's think like traitors. So if I'm a traitor and I killed Ian, so the only part you saw was me say, if I killed Ian or I killed Ian. So they knew everyone in the room knew exactly what I was doing, because the end of that sentence was, because Ian won Big Brother, he's very strategic himself, he's very likable. So I kind of went into his attributes of why he would have been a threat. So basically the comedian, he used that and twisted it and to be able to come up with these clues, and these contexts and like these, hard-hitting reasons, which didn't make any sense.
And then the second slip up was on the same episode when she spoke about the group's thinking, quote, "we killed Ian." Saying we instead of they made it sound like she was including herself in the murder plan, even though she was just speculating out loud about putting herself in the shoes of the traitors. Now, thinking out loud is something that makes Porsha a good reality TV star, because narrating her thoughts and her life makes it easy for the audience to follow her on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. We understand what is going on for the most part because she's narrating her thoughts. But on this show, thinking out loud is what caused her downfall. Her third slip up was that she mistakenly referred to the number of traitors as 4 instead of 3 way too early. If you watch the show, you know that sometimes there are 4 traitors towards the end, but her saying that on episode 2 seemed to really throw people off, even though there was already an additional secret traitor. So that comment got pointed out at the round table as another reason to suspect her. So taken together, these misspoken moments were played up in the castle as evidence that she might be working against the faithfuls, and that contributed to her being banished. And in her exit interviews, Porsha said the speed of her banishment left her shaken. She felt cheated out of the experience, especially since she believed she was coming in as a strong player. According to Porsha, she walked into that round table feeling confident, only to realize later that her words had been reframed and other people's motives were driving the narrative. And when she was asked whether she felt betrayed by Candiace after Candiace lied about Michael Rappaport wanting to target her as a housewife when it was actually comedian Ron who wanted to target her, Porsha didn't hesitate. She made it clear that the situation didn't sit right with her. And she said, quote, "I feel cheated. I really do. The fans feel cheated too. There was a missed opportunity there. I had so much greatness I was going to bring, and so did some of my partners on the show. I've definitely been in my feelings about it ever since. I was super excited to be there and to see how it all played out. I wasn't ready for how dirty it got. I've watched other seasons and I feel like the lies and setups usually come later on. But I think they knew I was a strong player, so they pulled out all the stops early. It took multiple angles to get me out. And looking back, she says she doesn't regret playing assertively, but she does wish she had been more selective about who she trusted.
Well, we got to talk about Candiace because turns out she was a traitor. How shocked were you when you found out that not only Candiace, but also Lisa Rinna was a traitor?
So I felt at the round table, as soon as I walked into the kitchen to confront Candiace with Michael to find out if he said, hunt down the housewives at the gravesite, when she lied, I knew she was a traitor.
Regarding Candiace, she said, I feel betrayed. Candiace said verbatim, Michael was in the boat and he said something about put it in a housewife grave. She said that. And when I brought it up, she twisted it. Then in her interview, she admitted she was just trying to shine light on Michael, so she used me early in the game to do that. That's not how this game is usually played, especially not in the beginning. Maybe later when it's your life or someone else's, but she's a traitor for her to set me up like that, then act like she had my back at the round table. That's not what housewives do. If you watch, the gamers stuck together. Why? Because eventually everyone's going to be accused. You want someone who can vouch for you. Someone you have camaraderie with. Us housewives, we're supposed to have that sisterhood. I underestimated just how cutthroat some of them would be. That was my mistake. So you guys, if you watch Traitors, you know that on Traitors, trust is currency. It will get you through the game. And Porsha learned quickly that she trusted the wrong person. She said in an interview with ET that she trusted Candiace and didn't call her out as a traitor because of her housewives alliance.
The only reason that I did not bring up Candiace's name and go at her as a traitor is because she's a fellow housewife. And through my experience in watching the different seasons, you stick together. And even if you have an inkling that she could be one, give her the benefit of the doubt. I wouldn't have voted for her. I would have done just a regular vote of someone else. Or Miss Donna. I would not have said her until I knew for sure, because housewives have a sisterhood and we're supposed to stick together.
Leave a comment and let me know what you think about Porsha trusting Candiace and Candiace using Porsha like a pawn in the game. And as always, thanks for watching. Now, if you made it this far to the end of the video, then I think you like my content. So make sure you subscribe and check out my channel. I have over 1,000 videos on my channel. Check out my playlists and my podcast, and I assure you, you will like more of my content.